now call Deputy Jonathan O'Brien. 5 minutes.
Thanks, Last Controller. I had expected to see Minister Kathleen Lynch in the benches across the way, and I was going to make an appeal to her to look inside her heart, and I was going to ask her to revisit her conscience, and then I realised it's actually Minister Hayes, and there's not much point in making an appeal to Minister Hayes to look inside his heart, because I don't know if you have one, Minister, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, like, we've seen some of the contributions from government ministers over the past week in relation to the Respite Care Grant, in relation to carers themselves. And I think one issue that gets lost in all of this is... Sorry? Well, you seem to presume an awful lot. You do. Right. And if I could continue without...
I make no personal remarks about you, and it's ill-befitting you to make some remarks about me.
Let's calm down a bit now. And Deputy O'Brien.
It's presumptuous. Presumptuous.
Well,
and ill-becoming of you.
Well, to be honest, I won't take lectures from the like.
But you're the one who started.
Could we just please?
Can I finish? You started.
Can you finish?
I didn't make you in charge.
This is not a playground.
Yeah. Deputy O'Brien.
So if I can finish my contribution.
Let's calm things down, and Deputy O'Brien continue. Just 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Substantiated by the fact that you are heaping misery on tens of thousands of carers by the cuts you made last week. That's all the evidence I need to realise where you're coming from where you're coming from, Minister. And with respect to the carers who are listening to this debate, behind every carer there is an individual who they care for. That individual has rights.
I know nothing about that.
Did I say you didn't?
Yeah, okay.
Do that.
All right.
Your initial remark.
Yeah. Right. Right. Okay. Please, we'll continue with the debate now. There's very little time for contributions here now.
There is no need to apologise to me or the House. The people who should be apologising to is the carers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Well, if you just, for once, Minister, just listen to what people have to say. If you can just listen for one moment, you might actually get an understanding of what people are going through. Well, if you listen to people out there, if you listen to people out there, you wouldn't be coming in here voting Respite Care Grants. Cuts to Respite Care Grant.
Back to the debate.
I know what it's like. I know.
Deputy O'Brien, through the chair.
Right? Please. Up to last August, my mother was a full-time carer for my father, who passed away from motor neurons. So don't come in and tell me about what carers do.
Look, we'll have to stop this interrupt. No, with no more interruptions now, please, Deputy O'Brien.
I just justified it.
Yeah. Deputy, through the chair.
I just justified it. You come in here and you talk about the role of carers and how in the past you have.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
You are a member of this government, and this government has implemented cuts which are absolutely devastating tens of thousands of families across this state.
Deputy and Minister, could we ask you both
coming in here about personal remarks? It'd be more your like now to go and speak to the carers whose Respite Care Grant you have cut. Well, actually, that is even a worse reflection on you. The fact that you've gone out and you've spoken to those carers, and you claim, I presume you claim to understand them, Minister. Well, if you did understand them, then you wouldn't be proceeding with the cuts which you're implementing.
Okay. Right. Okay, Deputy and Minister, please just let's continue with the debate. It's a very limited time.
I've heard members of your party only today in the Senate criticising political figures for raising this issue.
Who?
Senator Hayden.
Saying what?
She said that those opposition politicians who dare raise the issue of cuts in Respite Care Grants are doing it for their own political purposes.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't say she couldn't.
Yeah. Sorry, Deputy, you just a half minute left, Deputy O'Brien, please, now, and let's stay on the carers issue.
I will stay on the carers issue, and I want to touch on one particular point which is contained in the technical group's motion, which I want to commend to the Minister, and maybe he will take it back to the Cabinet, and maybe you will discuss it with them, and that is the need to put in transitional arrangements to facilitate people who are caring long-term and who find themselves, because of the death of a loved one, they have to return to work, or they want to get back into education. I mean, for instance, in my own mother's case, she cared for my father for so long that when my father passed away, she was at a loose end. She didn't know what to do with herself. And on top of trying to deal with the grief of losing a husband, on top of the grief of trying to deal with losing a husband, there was absolutely no support put in place for her, Minister, to try and help her through that difficult period. She went from caring for somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to having a house full of people coming to visit, public health nurses, people from Marymount, from the Irish Motor Neurons Association, all coming to see my father and to give him the support he needed. And when he passed away, she found herself living on her own, with just a sense of grief was unbelievable. And she now is looking to do something more with her life, but yet there is very little opportunity there for her. She has saved this state, as well as thousands of other carers have saved this state millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions in the service they have provided for their loved ones. And unfortunately, when that provision and when that loved one dies, those individuals are left to one side. They don't get any thanks, and they're not looking for any thanks, but the least they could get from this government and from any other government is the support to enable them to integrate back into society, to give them the support to enable to access back to education or training or some form of support to enable those people to get over those griefs. And Minister, you're sitting there, and to be honest, you're not really paying any attention. So I'd wonder, I'm not too sure if the Minister is more interested in his phone.
I'd ask you to conclude, Deputy, or over time. Yeah, Deputy.
Well, Minister, I'm asking, are you more interested in your phone or listening to the contributions?
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Deputy. I have to call the next speaker, Deputy Jerry Bushimer.
Yeah.
Please, please, order. Could we have some order, please? Deputy Jerry Bushimer, and you're sharing with a number of deputies. You have 5 minutes, Deputy. Please. No, Deputy Jerry Bushimer. Please. Okay. Now, it's the week. Could I just say to the House, it's the week. Could I say to the deputies and the ministers, it's the week before Christmas, and it's Deputy Bushimer.